guys, Vlad Moldavskiy here from MeetAdvisors.com. I'm joined with Tim Hines, founder of BTSocial. Tim, how are you today?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for joining us. It's sunny outside today, but it's still cold.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I'd like to get started and ask a little bit about yourself. What kind of businesses are you involved in, and what are your roles in the businesses?
Sure, so I'm involved in a few different startups right now. I'm what some people call a serial entrepreneur. So I keep finding that I just keep coming up with really good ideas, and I have a hard time putting those ideas down. I like to try to see if I can do multiple things at a time, which makes things super hard. But I seem to be getting them done anyway. So my role in my startups is I typically kind of come in as the idea guy. My background is in marketing. I went to UIC right here in Chicago for marketing, and ever since I was in college, I was attracted to being the entrepreneurship scene, being an entrepreneur, and being your own boss. And when I was doing that, or when I was looking at doing that, none of the resources were available in Chicago that are available today, which is cool for people that are kind of getting in the scene. I wish that there were those same resources back then, but either way, I've come to learn to adapt and to really get my stuff going. And working with BTSocial and CurbNinja is another one of my startups, and it's really helped me get a really good grasp on being a co-founder, like a CEO, the leadership type. So kind of take that leadership role.
Tell me a little bit about BTSocial, because I obviously thought I heard about it, which I did, but I guess I heard it from one of our team members here.
Yeah.
And it seems like an interesting concept. I mean, the opportunity, from what I understand, it's a travel media company, but there's also an enterprise application that allows for consultants and things like that who travel a lot to meet up with each other. So maybe go into it a little bit and tell me about the process. Let's say I'm a consultant, I'm on the road. How does it work? How would I benefit? Things like that.
Sure. So we originally launched BTSocial in 2010, where we kind of saw a three-pronged approach to what the solution was that we were going to deliver. And the problem came, or the idea of the problem kind of came from personal experience from myself and my co-founder traveling, as well as actually one of our advisors, who happens to be my dad. He was a consultant all his life and was always griping about travel and how much he hated being on the road all the time. And just hearing his stories combined with my experiences kind of came up with this big problem that we were trying to solve. And that problem was being able to connect busy business travelers while they're on the road. So one of the things that we see is that if you're a employee working at a large consultancy, and you're not a traveler, you are always in the office, you get to experience the company culture, you get to talk to your cube mates or go out on lunches and be able to actually get involved in your company. Well, business travelers don't have that luxury, especially those road warriors that are gone all the time. Most of them go to the same city, they sit in the same boring hotel, go to the same boring restaurants, and meet with those same clients week in and week out. So it's hard for them to establish relationships, especially within the company. And so that's something that we saw was a big gap. And so what we did is we developed this, as I mentioned, three-pronged approach to what BTSocial was and is. And we've obviously done some pivoting and some morphing. But what we first did is we launched a business travel news website, which is up today at BTSocial.com, where we publish news that we think business travelers want to read. There's a lot of industry news about what's going on in the industry that's out there, but we tried to pinpoint a different spot and actually cater our content to travelers. So we report on bag fees and new travel gadgets and stuff like that, anything we think business travelers want to read. And then when we first launched, we started doing networking events for business travelers around the city here as well. And we would bring business travelers that were visiting Chicago together to cool places, and we would host them at different hotel lounges and bars and stuff like that. But the most prominent part of what that BTSocial portfolio offers is the social travel application, which is what you were talking about, and that's an enterprise software application that's designed for a travel program, like a travel manager, to actually roll that out to all the travelers. They have to be within the company to actually use this, so kind of like how Facebook used to be for only colleges, like that kind of idea. Mm-hmm. And what they do then is they're able to actually input their travel itinerary, and then we help them share the gaps of time, or the time that they have between meetings and between layover or flights, like in layovers, and all that in between, those gaps of time. So we match travelers up in those gaps of time to hope that they can facilitate networking and build that company culture and that mentorship. So that's kind of the goal.
So so let's say I work for Deloitte and you work for Accenture, can the business travelers also link up, or is it specifically Accenture, Deloitte to Deloitte, Accenture to Accenture?
So currently it's intercompany, and it all depends on what the company wants it to be. So what we do is we build kind of a walled garden approach where we say, okay, it's all Deloitte, you're networking within Deloitte, you're able to connect with all the people within Deloitte. But if the companies both agree to go on more on the global platform, then they can network within to each other.
Got it. Seems like an unbelievable tool. I mean, I know just my brother, he's a tax consultant, so he's going to be on the road all the time, and I'm going to have to share this app with him and his company, quite frankly.
Let's get his company signed up. They become my customers.
As long as I get a referral fee.
Of course. I've got my checkbook in that bag.
Tell me a little bit, briefly tell me about CurbNinja, the second startup you have.
Sure. So CurbNinja is a mobile app that helps motorcycle and scooter enthusiasts find the best and safest places to park on the street in the city. So that came from a realization of a problem I had just because I'm a motorcyclist. I've been riding for about 5 years, and I was like, it's hard to find street parking, especially in a city like Chicago where it's not very motorcycle or scooter friendly. In some other cities like San Francisco and LA, San Diego, most of the West Coast cities and warmer cities, they actually have designated parking areas for motorcycles and scooters. They'll have like perpendicular spots. We don't have that here, so you're pretty much left to jam your motorcycle between cars, especially in like the pay-to-park zones. But more importantly, we found that there are tons of spots all around Chicago that are just outside of like tow zones or in between two signs where you could fit like one motorcycle, not a whole car, but just a motorcycle, and it ends up being free and it's completely legal. And we call those our ninja spots. I basically spent a whole summer mapping those out in just in a Google map that I would just open on my smartphone when I was looking for a place to park. And I said, we should build an app for this so we can share this. And so that's exactly what we did. I have another co-founder that's with me, and his name's Fred Lebed, and he's also a writer. And I went to him, I said, Fred, I have this idea. What do you think about coming in and helping out and building this app? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And so we finally got that launched just this past spring. We got it launched in San Francisco, went out there for a weekend, got about like 50 spots all in the app there, and now we're continuing to do it here in Chicago. But one of the ways that works and what makes it kind of different than other parking apps is, well, we're one of the only ones tackling the motorcycle problem, but it's crowdsourced. So all of the spots that are in the app are actually put in by the users of the app. So I can put them in, you could download the app, you can put them in, and we have this simple form, and you take a photo so you can see the motorcycle or the scooter parked in the spot, which makes it very clear. And that's one of the cool aspects about it. It's very community based, and using that crowdsourcing makes it really cool.
Sounds like an unbelievable idea. One last thing that we talked to you about previous to getting on camera is you mentioned, and I'm going to take a little change in direction. You mentioned one of the things we'd like to do here is give advice to entrepreneurs on our platform, and one of the things that entrepreneurs like to do is, and have to do quite frankly, is raise funds and find investors. You talked to me a little bit about the pitch training camp that you're working on right now. Do you mind elaborating on that a little bit? Do you mind expanding on that?
Sure. So Pitch Training Camp is a new venture that we actually just started this spring. It's in conjunction with the ladies from Miss Tech, who I'm sure a lot of people have heard of. They're doing some really cool things, empowering women in technology and in entrepreneurship here in Chicago. So we've actually partnered with them to put together this really robust curriculum called Pitch Training Camp. And basically what it is, it's a 6-week long course where it is individual days, so it's every Monday for 6 weeks, where entrepreneurs can sign up, be a part of the program, and then we go through a really robust curriculum of teaching them how to go from like zero to hero in pitching their business ideas. So a lot of people come in and they say, oh, I'm a new entrepreneur and I've never pitched before, I haven't done Technori Pitch, I haven't done Tech Cocktail Launch, I haven't done these things, and there aren't a lot of resources out there to help teach entrepreneurs how to successfully pitch their business. Because I mean, it could be from anywhere from stage fright to you just don't know what to say or how to put your slides together, or I'm doing this crazy stuff with my hands. So we go over content, delivery, and visuals in that 6-week course. Follow it at the end with a demo event, which we call opening day, because it's all baseball themed, pitch training camp. We call opening day, yep. And so then all the students get up and do their perfected 5-minute pitch at the end, and that's actually May 19th this year at the Microsoft Technology Center in the AM building in Chicago. So this first cohort, we have 16 students that are going through it. We just finished our second week this past week, and people are really loving it. We're getting some great feedback. We've got some amazing speakers lined up. We have coaches set up that come in during the workshops and actually sit down individually one-on-one with the students to give them the feedback that they need. So we try to make it as much of a personal experience for them as possible, because not everybody has the same issues when it comes to pitching. Some people are, really good at getting their data out there. Some people are really good with their stage presence, and some people lack in different areas. So we're trying to really get a personal approach to help make them as good as they can possibly be at the end of the camp. So we're pretty excited about that.
Can anyone go to this? Anybody
can sign up for it. So the only stipulation is we ask is that you have some sort of idea that you're working on, and maybe you could be somebody who's working for a startup, but maybe you're the salesperson, so we just ask you to come in with that startup's idea, and that's the idea you're gonna pitch. So anybody can sign up. We'll be doing our second cohort of it this summer, most likely starting in July, and we just do signups for it on F6S, so.
Great. One thing I like to ask all entrepreneurs that come by MeetAdvisors is, what's one piece of advice you would give to our community?
To your community, one piece of advice. There's so many pieces.
And you could give it to our community, and we'll share it across every community.
You're going to share it across every single community.
We're going to share it across the whole world.
Well, one piece of advice I guess I could give to fellow entrepreneurs or people or wannabe-preneurs, people that are looking to get into the startup scene is, and I'm gonna actually regurgitate something that I've learned from doing pitch training camp, and that's starting with why. And that's something that I actually got from Simon Sinek, that whole concept of start with why. Like, why are you here? Why are you in business? What do you believe in? That way of thinking and that way of marketing yourself and your company is so important. So I would say, a piece of advice, look up Simon Sinek, watch his video about start with why, and figure out what you believe in before you go into business and before you start marketing what you're doing or who you are. Because if you share in beliefs what other people believe, then you're more able to build trust, build those relationships, and be successful.
Tim, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys, check out MeetAdvisors.com for more videos and blogs.